Hey everybody, welcome back to the Iron and Oak Sawmill. Before we get started today, just want to let everybody know that I will be flying solo today. Deb is feeling a bit under the weather. You might see her popping in and out on the video that's coming up. But for this, the opening and the closing, I'm flying solo. She's in resting up, and if you want to, send her some well wishes. I'm sure she'll very much appreciate that. And as always, before we get started, Deb and I would like to thank everybody who stops out here every week to support the channel. Hitting that like button, hitting that share button, and all you subscribers, thank you very much appreciated. If you're new here, I'm Chuck. You'll see my wife Deb coming up in the video a bit, and we are Iron and Oak Sawmill. We run a portable sawmill service. We also do firewood, and we do milling here on our own property with for lumber for our own projects, and that's about it. But hey, I wanted to get everybody a look of the lumber yard, what we got going on here, what we've been cutting, and what is coming up to be cut. All right, and then we'll get started with today's video. Okay guys, I guess we'll start out here. We've got these 3 logs for Dave over at Wood Guy Tree Service. He drops logs every once in a while, wants to build up into some lumber for his personal use. We got an oak here for 2x8s. We got a couple of evergreens for 1x boards. I told him, don't know about the quality with those big knots, but he said cut them, so we'll cut them. Stickers, gotta have plenty of these when you're doing lumber and doing any kind of sawmill work. We just cut the bunch on the bottom there. They're cut from ash, so they'll be nice and dry probably in a month or so. And we're gonna need them because we get to that black walnut and we're gonna get to a lot of stacking. You guys have seen just about every one of these down here. These are all of our slabs, just about all of them here. Well, we've got black walnut, ash, Norway spruce, even some American chestnut is in there. So all kinds of good stuff hiding out in there. Up front here, you guys saw these videos. If you haven't, go back and check them out. This is the ambrosia maple, the 21 slabs. This thing is huge. All right, got about 800 board feet of quarter sawn red oak. We did a video on that, how to do quarter sawn the easy way, and if you check it out, I think you'll enjoy it. A lot of 6/4 ash. When we finally got all the ash logs pulled out of the log yard, this is what we cut. All of that this year. Finally got our ash logs cleaned up. The rest of the red oak that we brought in out of the log yard, all the plain sawn. That's here. This is about 900 plus board feet here as well. This is all 5/4 ash. That's a good stack of lumber there too. I like that stuff. But we're saving as much of this as we can. I always say that. Here's a bit of a reclaimed stuff. We've got some old growth heart pine and some old growth Doug fir under there. Good stuff. I'm saving that for a special project for us. Hickory, and lots of it. Probably about 1,000 board feet here. 800 to 1,000 board feet of rustic hickory. Excellent flooring, by the way. Black walnut, and this stack is probably going to quadruple or more, because we have got, in fact, we'll have to start another pallet. We've got some big logs sitting at the mill, and I'll show you those in just a minute. Back along the back here under these, this guy's got some turning blocks under there. We've got just blocking of all sorts back in here to use around the mill. We've got, these are our 4x4 for blocking here, and then that corner back here, just a little bit of 6/4 white oak. The very tail end of some of our slabs, these have been drying here for years, so they're good to go. But if you guys have watched the channel long enough, you remember this stack was huge. It was probably twice as high and almost twice as long. Deb has really been working hard to find these new homes, and we're just about done with them. I think we're gonna have to have another blowout sale, get this cleaned up, make room for more slabs, because we got to move some of those back here. So we've got some big ash and some big black walnut there. Black walnut, box elder. Check out the videos on those guys. This log exploded with color on the mill. I think it's the title of one of those. Beautiful stuff. If you like the red flame box elder, you definitely want to check those videos out. What do we got going on here? English walnut. English walnut here. This one is white walnut. If you've never heard of white walnut, also called butternut, It is a walnut tree, and the wood itself, though, does not have any dark heartwood to it, or it's referred to as white walnut. As mentioned, we've got black walnut coming up. You bet we do. 3 really nice logs here. You saw us, I think we were loading these up in a shorts video or something just the other day. I know we were doing that. I know you guys saw these getting loaded. I think you did anyway. But these are headed on to the mill next. And yeah, these 3, and we've got 3 more over here. I'm a little concerned about one. It's got some ring shake, and we've just got these miscellaneous logs laying here for a while. We should get to these. A little bit of ambrosia maple there, ambrosia maple back there. Let's take a stroll over to the log yard, guys. Maybe we'll run into some deer on the way over. Okay, we built this ramp coming off the stone wall here. We needed to get back to this thing. Yeah, definitely need to get back here to this thing. I'm standing here, and that root ball is 15 feet high. That is nuts. But we got to get the process in this, guys. It's spalt. If it's spalted, it's spalted. It's ready. It's a huge beech tree. It's probably 40-inch diameter. I'm hoping we haven't lost it yet. I don't think we have, but it's just finding the time and the equipment, because we're going to need a machine to move this stuff. I don't think I'm going to be able to move this stuff with our little tractor. And we've got the whole end of this is a huge amount of firewood as well. Okay. Okay, well, welcome to the log yard. Down here, we don't even hardly talk about this pile at all, but it's got a couple of maples out front here and a bunch of smaller cedars. Still got to figure out what we're going to do with these. Maybe try to pull as many boards out as we can, maybe make some posts, depends. But this maple's going to have to get done. But ever since we got all the oak and the ash out of here, we have a lot of extra blocking laying around. Down here, this box elder, turned out it didn't have a whole lot of flame in it, so I think what's probably going to happen, I'm just going to let this one go. It's not really good for firewood. It's like paper, essentially, so I'll probably just let that go. Over here, still got our cherry bucked up. We got to get that split. I don't want to mix this with anything else. I want to keep this all separated. The cherries gets into high demand, especially with the guys doing the smoker wood. We want to keep that separate. A bunch of white oak that got bucked up while the guys were here. Don Shive from Outside with Shive, Brad from Firewood at the Furnace, and Darren from Woodruff Woods. Plus we bucked a bit more and threw it in on top of this. But what we did get split from that gathering is stacked, finally. Cherry logs. I think I mentioned these in a previous video. Definitely want to get these up. Get these on the mill, because this is some beautiful looking stuff right here. Gonna have some nice curly cherry coming out of there. You see those waves in the surface like that. Nice curly cherry. I'm looking forward to opening those up. Yellow poplar or tulip poplar. 6 really nice logs. I'm gonna pull some nice boards out of there. Probably gonna do all 1x12s. Another miscellaneous pile. I think we got some hard maple in there, some soft maple, and some elm. I think this one's done. I don't know, guys. Maybe give it a shot when we have some time, but it's not a priority, except for maybe the elm. Maybe pull those elm logs out of there and get those done. More black walnut. We might have gone over this one the last time, but we've got some decent logs here towards the front, and then you get these smaller ones up here, smaller ones in the back. I think they're here just for mantles or maybe cookies. But we do have a good amount of lumber logs left in here as well. Probably 2, 4, 6. I think there's 6 good sized lumber logs in here. Okay, over here in this stack, this is our slab black walnut. We got 3 crotch logs here, 4 crotch logs, and then this one, I'm not sure why this one's over here, but it is. But it might be a lumber log. We'll have to see when we get to it. And then the red oak stack, the red oak pile, the red oak mountain that definitely needs to get we need to start splitting it. We had it all bucked up, and then boom, we got more. So we got some more bucking to do. We got started on it the other day, and then once we're done bucking, got to get that estimate over here and get things moving. The tail end of the hickory, this stuff has been cut for a while, but it's still rock solid and going to make some good firewood. Speaking of hickory, that whole pallet is hickory. That is a cord plus, because that is 8 foot long, 4 foot deep, and that's well over 4 feet high. So there's over a cord of hickory there. This is our miscellaneous or mixed hardwood stack here. We get oddball logs in here, and don't really want to separate them into a different pallet. We just mix them all in there, and this is going to be well over a cord because that's a 10-foot pallet right there. All right, the oak that we had split from the gathering, this is it. Plus we split a bit more, and darn near a cord in here. We got to get this filled up. That'll make a complete cord there, but you can see just the red oak is just pouring all over the place back there. So as we split and fill them up, we'll just put more pallets. We're just going to line them up along here and keep stacking them up and get it drying, because we all know oak takes extra time to dry out. So all right guys, hopefully you enjoyed that update for what's going on here in the lumber yard and over at the log yard. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video.
Okay, check out what we saw on beginning of our road trip. I don't think you're gonna see these just any place. Those were on their way to this, the local fair and the pumpkin growing contest. But here we go with why we hit the road today. You guessed it. Iron and Oak is picking up a conveyor for the Easton made. It's not an Easton made conveyor. This is a corn elevator, but this is going to come in real handy. These two gentlemen here listed this on Facebook Marketplace. We went over, we checked it out, we liked what we saw, we worked out a deal, and Deb and I went back home, picked up the Ford and the trailer, and came out and grabbed and picked this up. Of course, we're having a little trouble getting it on the truck, but we did manage. Because when all else fails, bring in the machinery. Just a brief history on the company that manufactured this particular elevator. They were started in 1898, a couple of name changes, and then they became the Portable Elevator Manufacturing Company in 1903. They continued production of this and many other pieces of farm implements up until 1967, where they became the Dynamics Corporation of America. They continued to produce in the Bloomington, Illinois plant until 1985, when production was shut down. At this point, I'm not sure when exactly this piece was manufactured. There's I'm having a lot of trouble finding history on the company or manuals for these elevators or anything like that. So if anybody else has information about these elevators out there, please let me know. Definitely appreciate it.
Sawmill, guys. PTO driven off the back of the BX 1500. It's a little squealy here and there. It was real bad when we first started it, but got some lube on the chain. Let's slow this down a little bit. That's a little better. Don't need to run it that fast. It's only taking firewood up. These seem to be spaced just right. We could take every other one out. We do have one spot where it's banging. Right there. Paddles are getting caught on that every once in a while, and it's not going to help them, so not going to help them, so we'll have to bend that down a little bit, I guess. Works as it should. Another plan we have is to put a set of, I think we call them grizzly bars out here on the end. So the wood hits them, and any of the chaff, junk, scrap, whatever you want to call it, falls through the grizzly bars and the wood slides out further. We'll look into that as we go along, but I want to go over all the rotating gears here and make sure everything's got a good amount of lube on it, and we're not just burning up bushings or bearings here. But she's here, she's working. It's gonna serve the purpose. It ain't the prettiest one in town, but it's the most affordable one in town. Oh yeah, we're also gonna have to build a hopper on this end to catch the wood as it comes off the splitter. Okay guys, one of the first things we have to do with this is this hopper. What little there is on this end. This is not really meant to catch wood, but it's a beginning for us, and we can add on to this. But this hopper's been bent forward, and the two wings on each side have been bent down flat. They're usually stood up like this, and the front half just kind of leans out like that and acts like a nice catch. But yeah, looks like something just backed over this and pushed everything down. So we've got some torn metal. It's galvanized, so I don't know if I'm going to be welding this or what we're going to be doing. Welding galvanized, bad idea, but it may be something that I can either bend back in place and just leave as is, or copy it somehow. But we're just going to work on getting this apart. Well, that was a bit of frustrating, as you can see. Bunches of tools started coming out. We've got grinders, we've got impact guns, we've got PB blaster, map gas torch. But what we do have is these three pieces off. A lot of bolts being cut off to get these out of there. And we've got them straightened out. Now granted, metal is torn here on all of these pieces, but we've got them straightened out, and we're going to be able to bolt them back together. Now either I can do some flat pieces on here and strap or pop rivet them if needed, or what else? I could weld them, but I'd wear a respirator to do it, because you're welding galvanized, you definitely do not want to breathe that in. Okay, we got all these flanges straightened out. No idea if this is going to be lining up or not. The only thing I do is just start putting it back together and see what we got. I think we're pretty close. This will be a bit more of a hopper than it was, because this piece, you remember, this was peeled completely up, laying over top of these like this, and then these were bent down on each side. So this is now going to be standing up here. Of course, those will sit up. I bent these out to open them up so they made more of a hopper, but we'll see how they go on. I don't think it's going to be big enough. I think the hopper's going to have to be a little bit bigger to catch more, only because the tray on the Eastimate is wider than this, so I might have to extend these out so they catch more. But we'll see how it works out, just as if we can put it back on. Okay guys, ran out of daylight, so we had to get back at it today. We did finish getting these socked down. We took this apart and put some washers on the backside. Little extra contact area, keep this nice and tight. And at some point in time, the owners added these wood strips to the edges, the top edges of this hopper. I guess to help reinforce it a little bit, but this stuff's pretty thick. This stuff's pretty thick. I'm surprised they did that, or that they had to do that. But of course, we have plenty of, they used white oak. We're going to use white oak. We've got some white oak laying around, so we're going to go ahead and replace those boards and hopefully keep that reinforced. There we go. As these get left. Nice. Go. That's much more rigid on there. I think the whole thing is much more rigid with that stuff together. A few other issues we're having with this thing. I mean, like I said, it still runs, it still functions, everything works. We got like this side plate here. Someone took a hit on that. I'd like to get that off of there and flatten that out. I'm going to remove this thing because I have no idea what it's for. And whatever it is, it's damaged. There's these brackets coming down here and this rod going up the center. It goes up to that bracket, bends outward to the outside for some reason. Comes down here. It's bent up here. It's bent up against the bottom. And it's actually, from lowering this down, it hit here and bent this bottom tray up. So I've got to get that flattened out because that's where when the chains go around, the paddles hit on that. So, and over time you either wear through the bottom of this or wear out the paddles. So that's definitely got to get straightened out. If someone knows what this is for, I mean, I can't use this rod anymore, but I'll keep the brackets and we'll see. I can't find any information online on these at all. Okay, our other problem here is the winch, where it's located mostly, because according to the other ones I've seen, the winch is supposed to be here, but I don't know how it functions if it's there, because this handle is going to smack into everything as you crank it around. That cross tube here goes between the wheels, is bent down. That's supposed to be straight. These tubes going up this here for this carriage is bent. They need to be straight. But like I said, still moves, still rolls, still functions, so we're in good shape. Just got to get rid of the little bugs. Well, guys, that one came right off, but I forgot to turn the camera on. So let's get on to the other three and actually turn the camera on for these. Nope. I don't know, this one looks just as rusty. Oh, good. All right, get the grinder. Good start. Go. All right. All right. Yeah, we also have to find a better way of storing this shaft. You can't just keep tying it to the chain inside of here. Yeah, maybe I can fab up something to bolt to the side here and just rest it in there. A little bungee on it to keep it from popping out. All right, just for fun, guys. With all the mods, let's go ahead and run the conveyor for a little bit. I did put a little oil on here, keep it from squealing. Right up there in the center, you see that black streak in the middle? It just squeals like crazy. Now I know why they put the wood runners on each side. Much quieter. Hit it. Oh, there you have it, guys. The latest piece of equipment to hit the iron and oak sawmill. That's going to save us a lot of work. No more standing at the end of the splitter and pitching into a trailer, or having to push the stuff away to make room because it's piling up at the end of the splitter so fast. There's one less thing that we're going to have to deal with when we're running the splitter to allow us to run the splitter more efficiently. So sorry we weren't able to get a video of it in full operation with the splitter setup on it and everything else, but we wanted to spend our time getting this thing put together right and get it operating correctly, and watch for this in upcoming videos, because we're definitely looking forward to taking it into the log yard and pumping some firewood out. So guys, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, but the little giant conveyor on the mill, look for it in a future video in full operation. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions about what we're doing here at the mill, about the new conveyor, the tractor, the mill, what we're going to be milling coming up, please put it down in the comment section. Be glad to help you out. And as always, thanks everybody for stopping out, and we'll see you at her next time. And from Deb, take care.